Hey, what's up? What the VC here coming at you with another video. The Villain Club. I know it's all about things that are going on around the dial, or sometimes it can be something in particular. And I just like to give you my common sense thought on things. You can find me here on YouTube, or you can find me on Rumble. All right. So with that, subscribe to the VC here, or follow me on Rumble, and that's all there is to it. So without further ado, let's go around the dial today. Sometimes I like to go focused on things, and sometimes I like to go around the dial, see what's going on with the haps and the craps out there. For example, look at this one. Camping World's huge American flags trigger lawsuits. Why? Because you're waving an American flag, right? So let's see what's going on with this BS. Are people just unpatriotic? People are just un-American? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Battery's dead.
Just saying. Let's take a look here.
So the CEO of Camping World refusing to back down as the company faces lawsuits in Tennessee and North Carolina over giant American flags at his RV dealerships. Camping World CEO Marcos Lemonis joins us now. Marcos, what's the problem here? They say it's too big?
Well, they really believe that it just violates the local ordinance, and the ordinance has really restricted the size of the flag and the size of the pole as well. And we've had these flags up for, 20 years. So it's surprising to me in states like North Carolina and Tennessee that I'm dealing with this.
Right. So Tennessee's statement says to us in the lawsuit, let's be clear, the issue has never been about the flag.
Okay,
our community is proudly American, and patriotism runs deep in Seaverville.
Right,
the display of the flag is not only welcomed, it's celebrated. The concern at hand is the height of the flagpole, which exceeds the city's longstanding zoning regulations by 200%. What's your reaction?
Well, there's a pole across the street for a business that allows people to know where to get off, and that's about a similar height. When we came to Sevierville and moved from Knoxville to open up the store, nobody minded that we were going to spend $20 million generating tax revenue in their property. So it's a little odd to me that we're hearing about this now. From my perspective, the flag's not a problem. It's not providing any safety. It has FAA clearance. And for me, this just feels like an opportunity for the city to say, we want to control what's happening there.
And Marcus, your self-made success story.
Stupid permits. Oh, you gotta pay extra fee, or you gotta pay permits. It's all bureaucratic bullshit.
But you want to give back to the country. You say this is your love letter to the country. You have a goal of spreading a million flags across this country.
Well, we have 704,000 square feet of flags. So the flag you see on your screen is 3,200 square feet. I've had them up for 20 years. I'm about 3/4 of the way there. When we get to 1 million square feet, I'll feel like I've accomplished my goal.
Why? Why does it mean so much?
You know what? I wasn't born in this country. I was immigrated from Beirut, Lebanon, came here to Miami, Florida, and had an opportunity to live the American dream in this country. And I've put a lot of sweat and tears into building this business for my people and for the country. And it's my love letter to tell everybody how grateful I am that this country provided me an opportunity where it didn't have to make money, to be a capitalist, to provide jobs in America. And as I've told people before,
I never would have thought he was not born here.
This flag is not coming down. This is the third city in the last several years that have tried to sue us to take the flag down, threatening jail, a variety of other fines.
Fuck that.
I want my legacy to stand.
I'd be like, hey, you know what? If you don't want the business.
For something, and this is one of those things.
And you help so many people. I loved your show on TV, and I see how you're always trying to give back and grow other success stories. Marcus, hope you win this. Your heart's certainly in the right place. Thank you.
Just waste of time.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Yeah, it's just bureaucratic. At least it's not a patriotic thing, oh, that flag is a symbol of whatever, or, some dumb stuff. But at least, it's stupid. It's just frivolous anyways. Doesn't matter. Pretty dumb stuff. All right, let's see. We're going around the dial. What else we got going on here? Going around the dial. Let's see. Gavin, Newsom. What lame brain ideas now, right?
San Francisco is rolling out a new program issuing speeding tickets based on income. Guess who it's backed by? Governor Gavin Newsom. People who earn 200% below the federal poverty level get 50% off tickets, and homeless individuals get 80% off. What a bargain. Wait,
fuck?
Homeless individuals who get speeding tickets?
Thank you. They have cars?
Yes. Taylor's asking lots of very smart questions. Are you homeless if you live in your vehicle? This is yet another costly burden for Californians, barely scraping by, just like the latest sales tax hike in Los Angeles. The city of Angels, Los Angeles, now has the highest sales tax in the entire nation, nearly 10%. Regressive. It hurts the working poor more than anyone.
Yeah, because you're forcing to pay, this tax or fee for something, right? Now that's less money for you to spend, technically, right? Because you're paying all this extra sales tax. But if you don't tax so heavily, you're giving more people more money back to the people to spend, and actually spending is not a bad thing. It's like it's gotten assed out, reversed end around, and it's like. It's an inverse opposite of what it's supposed to be. So if you charge more tax, it's less money to spend because now you're forcing a fee to be paid. But if the taxes are lower, it gives more money people back in their pockets to actually spend on more products. So overall, the spending in that sense is more and better.
All of this is an effort to tackle homelessness. But as we know, California has a spending problem, not a revenue problem. As a born and raised Californian, Taylor, the homelessness is not a problem related to actually housing. It's related to drug addiction and alcohol addiction and mental illness. That is the root of it all. And they're always putting Band-Aids on it. But this speeding ticket cockamamie idea they've come up with in San Francisco.
Thing I've ever heard.
I shouldn't
Gavin
be
is
surprised.
really that stupid.
Well, I apologize for interrupting your wonderful introduction, but I could not help myself. The irony that if you're homeless, you get the 80% reduction in the speeding ticket. Great question. You guys, you'll help me weigh in. I don't understand. California has always been so backwards. I don't understand why my parents still live there.
Not during Reagan.
Bingo. But since then, maybe Schwarzenegger was my other good favorite. I don't get it, and to me, this, given our experience in New York, screams the opposite of where they come out on day one and they say, we won't criminalize jumping over the turnstile and not paying your subway fare. So it just incentivizes that behavior. Jackie, you know more than anyone with me in criminal law. The whole point of criminal law is deterrence. You raise the penalty to stop the behavior. This just incentivizes it. I can't figure it out.
Apportioning penalties for speeding based on income level. It's bad.
Like, can you just claim, oh, I'm on low income and you get a smaller speeding ticket? I mean, like, how do they know? They're just going to just issue a ticket and then they run it through a system and say, oh, based on their job is this. So, like, how do they know that stuff? That's the thing. How are they going to find out?
Backwards, but they do everything backwards. I'm not surprised at all. It just brings me back to the point that Dagan was making about Gavin Newsom and loopholes and not verifying what people have if they want to get on Medicaid is absolutely ludicrous, that rich people should be on it. This is a man that probably is going to make some sort of bid to run for president of the United States. And I call him the snake charmer because every time he speaks, he's very good looking, but he's also has a very persuasive way about him and turning the conversation around. I will say that when I watch him, I'm like, I know you're lying, but you're good at it. And so I'm very concerned about that. But I'm not going to weigh in on how to fix California's woes. For me, it's a goner.
He's got the proof's in the pudding. It doesn't matter what you say; it matters what you do. And this is what he does. I mean, if he was serious about all those radio talk shows he's on saying, oh, I'm going to move away from DEI to common sense. If he was serious about caring more about common sense than this kind of Marxism, which is what this is, you prices are fixed on the basis of how much you have. It's a reverse incentive program.
From each according to his
ability. More incentives by sitting at home and saying that you're not getting any money than by working hard and getting enough money to pay off your tickets or to pay your electric bill or whatever it is. If he was serious about moving away from that Marxism to common sense, he would not have signed off on this.
He's moving they're moving toward Marxism. There are a lot of governors in America. Tim Walz in my state was probably looking at what they're doing with this right now and saying,
I like it.
They're not going to stop.
Walz is an
when you
idiot
go
too.
in to
That's a
apply
great
for
idea.
your new driver's license, how long is it going to be before they have an income test on that? Any permit that you want, how long before there's going to be Marxism doesn't stop anywhere. It always keeps marching forward. But then on the other side, they raise sales taxes in Los Angeles, and the money's going, Dagan, to your point, 35% of it's going to the newly formed Los Angeles County Affordable Housing Solutions Agency. And I can see how well you think that's going to work.
We know it doesn't work.
No. But I'm telling you, you think the NGOs are how money gets funneled in D.C., and it's these development authorities is how it gets funneled in places like California. It's all Democrats getting money from people who can't afford to give it to them.
They should build more.
And it's all a grift too, because they're just taking that money
for the extremely dangerously.
Telling you, man, my greatest idea ever. All these closed down prisons, right? Some of them you could just open them back up, and those are your mental health recovery facilities, right there. We got the land, we got the infrastructure. You just gotta staff it, open it back up. Get them treated. They'll be off the streets. And, if they get the right treatment, maybe off of drugs for good.
Mentally ill. Mm-hmm. That's what there has been. They've all virtually disappeared in the United States, in the state-run hospitals. And that's, again, the root of the homeless problem.
And by the way,
they let it happen.
They also are against faith-based answers to those problems because as right. a lot of people who I've known who've been addicted, who went through the Betty Ford, all these clinics and so forth, they say, until I got a faith-based program, it didn't really stick. And they are so anti anything that has God in it in California that they don't allow a lot of those groups to partake.
Right, not
in
God.
some of the government programs.
Worship government.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just saying, man. I got the solution.
Excuse me.
Of course, nobody wants to listen. But that's the dumbest idea ever. That's all I got to say. And then, of course, Trump announced his tariffs yesterday. And, it caused the market to panic as always. Every time he talks about tariffs, it causes the market to panic. Stock market, crypto markets, they go into panic and dumping mode and all this stuff. That's what happened there. It was just a reaction to what happened there. So obviously doing reciprocal tariffs and all this stuff in many countries. I don't know if this short video will cover the numbers on reciprocal tariffs. Trying to see if let me see what this one does. Tariff orders. Let's take a quick look here.
Some are considering that and coming forward.
It's almost like saying it's a clawback of we've been giving. The others haven't been given back enough, so they're just trying to, get some of that back, especially if some of these countries are tariffing our stuff being brought over there. All right, it's not fair, so that's why there's a reciprocal. You're doing it to us, we're doing it back. That's all it is. It's just simple.
Forward and wanting to be right out of the gate, Jan, to negotiate with the president. President Trump's auto tariffs officially took effect at midnight after that major announcement yesterday afternoon with at least 10% tariffs on dozens of foreign countries. Trump's 25% auto tariffs covers more than $460 billion annually worth of imports of vehicles and other parts. It's only the tariff on vehicle imports now in place, with nearly 150 auto parts facing a May 3rd to take effect. And now we're seeing these reports of other...
And what's interesting? Mercedes, believe it or not, even though it's a German, I believe it's German, is from Germany. They're actually built in the U.S., so they actually avoid the tariffs, believe it or not. All right. Mercedes versus, BMW, of course, is from Europe. So they're going to be tariffed. But when you look into it, Mercedes is actually not going to get tariffed because a lot of, their cars are actually built here in the U.S.
Countries talking about negotiating, right? Like Ontario's Premier Doug Ford. Take a listen to what he had to say.
We'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off. We're willing to take these tariffs off like in the next minute if he said he's taking their tariffs off.
Thailand's prime minister says, quote, "We have prepared several steps, including sending our permanent secretary to talk with them. I think we can still negotiate." And the deputy finance minister saying we have to talk about which products they feel are unfair, and we have to see whether we can adjust. The Italian prime minister says she's going to do everything she can do to move forward with an agreement. Ireland.
And if you are really listening, right? If you really are listening, he said from the very beginning that tariffs, if anything, is just a bargaining chip. It's to bring countries to talk. But since nobody really wanted to talk, even though he proposed the idea of it initially, he said, all right, well, I'll just put it out there now. And now a lot of these countries are willing to talk, right? I mean, that's just what it is. So, pretty funny stuff.
Ireland's deputy prime minister saying he is committed to working with the president as well. Australia's prime minister condemned these tariffs and says he is not going to reciprocate and he will negotiate. The European Union is now reacting too.
We have always been ready to negotiate with the United States.
There you go. All right, you get the idea, right? So basically, it's just to bring negotiation, bargaining to the table. That's what it is. All right, and rein in more, money back into the U.S. because we keep giving, but we're not getting. So that's all it is. Simple. All right. So people just react. So how can I say this? Like, they're so scared, just let it play it out, and people just react so, they're so scared. It's okay. It's all right. It's gonna, work itself out in over time. What also caught my attention the other day is, over here, Democrats want a new mileage tax, right? This thing has been on talk for the last few years now, in the recent years, like during the Biden administration, that they've been wanting to impose like this mileage tax where, there's some sort of thing to put in your car and it tracks your mileage and you get taxed on that, right? And then especially on newer models, they were supposed to build this thing into the cars and it's supposed to track your miles and then you get taxed on it. So it's supposed to incentivize you into using public transit if you, and I guess unclog freeways and all this other bullshit. It's stupid. It's like all this crap they're trying to do is, you see how the MO is on Democrats? They just continue to want to tax you. Like, what else are they going to tax you on, right? They're going to tax you for walking, right? They're going to have you wear a watch, right? The smart watches and stuff, right? And all that stuff that tracks, right? Your steps, they're going to tax you on that, right? Tracks. It's like, when's the stop? You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. And I don't know when people are actually going to put their foot down, but this shit needs to stop. It's just stupid. All right. And so, mileage tax pretty soon, you're going to be taxed on your steps. All right. It's coming soon. Just saying. Tax on your steps. Democrats want to charge you for 911 calls. All right. Well, then, there'll be less 911. So this is the thing. Here's a trickle down effect. Less 911 calls, right? They're going to say, crime is down and safety is up, right? That's what they're going to claim in their way of twisted thoughts of, when they describe a crime that's not reported because no one wants to call 911. All right, so it's just stupid. And let's see what else. What else? The insanity of Democrat idiots, right? I mean, look at it, right? We started off with the what the fuck moment with Gavin and the lame brain idea of speeding tickets. You have a low income threshold. Oh, you're on low income? Okay, well, we'll give you less. All right, okay, so you're incentivizing it's okay to speed because you're not really, giving them the max fine. All right, and so like what else? What else? I mean, like I said, they're going to tax you on your steps pretty soon. Let's see. Videos show hundreds of shoppers running in a panic at a Bronx mall. Well, you know why? Because they're soft on crime and defunding police in the Bronx. Of course. Shit can go wrong easily. What else is going on?
You need a partner who can help protect connections between users, devices, and applications.
Trying to find out right
wherever
now.
They're located.
Chaos at a Bronx mall over the weekend after a large crowd of teens took off running and screaming, setting off panic. Alan Devlin spoke to witnesses who described this incident.
It's like the same thing they do in Chicago when they have those teen gatherings in Chicago. Like, you notice that it happens in these sort of liberal cities
as a stampede, and also reports on the changes that could come because of it.
The sounds of screaming echoes through the mall at Bay Plaza Rotunda Saturday. Hundreds of shoppers running, many in a panic, unsure of what or where they're running from.
It was kind of shocking to see that there could be so many people in one place doing the exact same thing. I guess that's kind of like group mentality.
Videos like these plastering social media showing several groups of teens Saturday around 5 o'clock breaking out into sprints, circling the mall.
It was kind of like crazy to see that happen, like in a place that's like really local.
I was running to the door and lock it.
Dorca Jimenez was working at Premier Hair and Beauty Salon right across from where it all went down Saturday.
She locked it. That was smart because you don't want people just busting in and taking shit just in case there's some sort of weird looting going on.
I was scared. Something happened in the mall. Yeah, I was very scared. So all the customers here was scared too.
And witnesses say it all came to a head right here in the food court where one of the students threw a chair on camera. They then described what happened next as a stampede.
Suddenly we saw a group of children running through the mall.
Marcia Liberato had a front row seat as well and said while incidents like this one are bad for business, she's happy nothing worse came out of it.
Nothing bad happened. None of them were fighting. They were just basically being children.
This kind of scares tenants. This kind of scares people and consumers.
The mall sits in Councilmember Kevin Riley's district, and he said as recently as Monday morning, he's been in conversations about better securing the plaza, including potential curfews for younger shoppers and additional law enforcement.
We all grew up. We know that the mall is usually a centralized location where young people like to fellowship and network and
nothing's going to come of this. Nothing's going to come of that. That's stupid. Nothing's going to come of it, and then there's going to be like, another day, and then it's going to happen again, right, before something is going to change, right? What are they going to do, put more security guards? I mean, what? I mean, it's not going to stop nothing. So, yeah, it's just stupid shit. Yeah, we've become numb to this stuff because they let too many things go. Soft on crime, defund police, like, oh no prosecuting, they're just kids, they're just kids having a good time, right? That's what it is, they're just kids, it's okay. Chicago's the same way too, right? Same thing. Oh, they're just kids, it's okay, sometimes they just need to go out and have a little fun, right? They need to get out and get some fresh air, right? Yeah. I think they had a teen takeover in Chicago, right, recently. Let me see here. There's a teen takeover. This is all a year ago stuff. Teen shot during a large disturbance in downtown Chicago. Okay. They had a teen takeover event a year ago. That's probably going to come again. Nothing's really done in general. It's pretty funny. Like, what is Brandon Johnson going to do, right? So, I don't know. It's just bullshit. Bullshit stuff.
Well, after hours of passionate debate.
Yeah, so let's see what else we got going on. We'll take a look at one more thing here. You know, I always like to look to see around the dial. Once again, we talked about this the other day here. You know, they're the high-speed rail to nowhere, $7 billion to continue construction. Continued construction of not one track laid. All right. Yeah, so it's just funny how things are. But yeah, let me just give a reminder. So here, this was reported 7 days ago, or 2 days ago here. Shutdown looms by 2026. Yeah, if they don't get a $7 billion funding, I believe, from the federal government, which they already received $4 billion just recently, which they're going to investigate as to, okay, we just gave you 4, now you're asking for another 7? What's going on here? So, it's funny. Or is it another 3? Something like that, some bullshit. But basically, they're gonna be in a shortfall, and knowing how Trump is, who he said he's gonna be the one that's gonna personally investigate this one. I just don't see the federal government funding this any further. And so, being that California's in a deficit, all right, they're not going to be able to cover this, and illegals, right, giving everything to the illegals, and all this borrowing money that they're doing right now, really destroying the future of California, right, because no one wants to pay extra taxes. No one's voted for extra, not all bonds. I think they voted a couple bonds, but in general, no one wants the bonds because that really kills our future as well. So they're in a predicament, right? And it's so easy. You just cut the spending for the high-speed rail. You cut the homeless program that is a grift for Democrats, and no results. And you cut, basically, just don't give anything to the illegals because they're illegal, right? Man, how much money can you save from that? But anyhow, it's just all these what the fuck moments in California and beyond. That's going on, and it's all Democrat idiots, right? And so think about it. I mean, look at it. Look at everything that's been presented. Like, how can you say that none of this stuff is all Democrats' own issues and spending problems that it's so easy to pull back on and really fix, but they just love to spend and tax us for it. All right, so that's the latest. All right, other than that, let me know what you think. Subscribe to my VC on YouTube or follow me on Rumble. And other than that, thank you. I'll see you next one.